Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report. I had to click that. I got distracted there. Part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. This is show number 361 for Thursday, January 9th. Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, Joe Nicloy, Roddy Schroyer, coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, from the Dominator Race Product Studio. Yeah,
361 shows, Scott.
Yeah.
Was Bryan Speedway still running when we started?
Probably. We
Seems like
started before. So long ago. How many races, how many weekends did they have, do you think? They probably had more than 361.
Oh, yeah.
They started back in 1949.
Yeah.
Anywho.
49, really?
For my research, yes.
Oh, no kidding.
I did a
You
lot
were
of
there,
research.
weren't you, Joe?
Oh, yeah. I was just like in my 30s then.
Yeah, okay.
So tonight on the show, we're going to be remembering Bryan Motor Speedway. We have a bunch of racers, a whole bunch. We got people in the queue here online. We have, as we mentioned, Joe and Roddy joining us here in the studio. We're going to get Ron Price on the phone. Lots of people.
It's going to be a fun show, Scott.
So, we'll get to that in a little bit. Hillary Miller's going to be joining us. I even got a hold of Rick Spangler. You guys remember?
Yeah,
Rick
I remember Rick.
Todd Sherman's standing by. We got Dwayne Hancock. Should be. That Dwayne guy. He's from Bryan.
Really?
Apparently, he used to live out there.
Oh, yeah,
as well.
he runs a Napa store out
No, I
there.
think it's AutoZone.
Oh. Anywho, later on the show, we're going to be giving away some East of Chicago pizza. We're going to have to spin the East of Chicago pizza wheel tonight
Ooh, we got a
for
tie?
the first time. Yeah,
right.
three people picked
Ooh.
the correct winner of the Tulsa Shootout last weekend. At least the number.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't 8, as I had chose.
Good try.
Yeah. So we'll be giving away another pizza later on tonight, and also we'll be doing the hashtag DCR for one of these guys, our Hammer Down Race Report window stickers, courtesy of DCR Graphics. So if you type hashtag DCR in the comments of the Facebook Live or YouTube Live, you'll be entered for a chance to win that. We'll do that drawing at the end of the show. I'm not sure when that's going to be because there's
Could be a while.
could be a while, so stick around for all that, or just come back later.
If you're really hungry, you've got plenty of time for DoorDash, so go ahead and give them a call.
There you go. Got a little bit of news and a little bit of our racing roundup. We'll do our racing roundup before we get to our talk about Bryan Motor Speedway here.
Okay.
Something else, too, that I noticed last week about the podcast. Spotify now does video.
Really?
I went to upload our show. Usually I take my little micro SD card out of the board here, take the audio, clean up anything if we had any stuff that didn't sound professional or, little flubs here and there, because this is live, that's not. And then I upload it, and it said, you can upload video for Spotify.
I use dish soap to get rid of my Spotifys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to get rid of Spotify.
Oh, that's not what it is.
So anyway, we're uploading video. I mean, you can always watch a video on Facebook or YouTube. We've been doing it for the 361 shows, but now audio podcasting is kind of becoming video. We were trendsetters, like in 2017 we were doing this. That's all. I just wanted to toot our own horn on that.
Yeah, okay.
I got to mention Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race 2025 race season is set to begin Saturday, April 26th. Also on the schedule, the only other date so far that's official is the birthday race, which is also going to be a
Ironman race.
American Late Model Ironman Series race, and that's going to be Saturday, July 12th. And then you can pretty much bet there's going to be racing every Saturday night starting April 26th through the end of September. But the official schedule's not out yet. We are in January now, so
Yeah.
hopefully.
A lot of tracks have them out. There's a few that don't.
But you can check out oakshaderaceway.com or follow Oakshade on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for latest updates.
Do we have a date for their Showdown series at Oakshade yet?
I have got no official dates on Showdown series from
Really?
Core. Just some possible dates on different tracks. But yeah, so Also got to talk about Magic Moment Entertainment. Save $100 off your DJ reception service. Magic Moments, Ron Burt works with contracts. He carries liability insurance, never charges for mileage or dance floor lighting. He covers the entire states of Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and Kentucky. He's been in business for over 30 years. Magic Moment takes pride in working closely with couples to make your special day perfect. Wedding receptions may be Magic Moment specialty, but they also do corporate events and mitzvahs, and I'm sure whatever you need a DJ for, Ron will probably do it.
Special event,
There you go.
give Ron a call.
419-594-2261, or you can find him on Facebook under Magic Moment Entertainment or Ohio Sports Splits. And as we've been talking about, he's booking June and beyond, and it sounds like he's been getting a lot of calls. He just got a new kidney, and he's been booking a lot of dates while he's been recovering from that surgery. So if you got something coming up, you might want to get a hold of him soon and mention Hammer Down Race Report, and you get $100 off. Not a bad deal. Also got to mention Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Victory Fuel, and Dominator Race Products sponsoring tonight's show. So again, as I mentioned before, we get to all of our guests that are going to join us here in just a little bit. We have a little bit of business to take care of as far as our racing roundup from last weekend. So let's do that.
Racing Roundup.
Tulsa Shootout happened this past weekend.
It did.
It did. And the main event Saturday night, Kyle Larson. He won, two of them? Three of them? Two of them. He won the Winged Outlaws. Christopher Bell winning the non-Winged Outlaws. That was a pretty close finish.
I didn't
there.
see it, but I've heard that it was a great race.
I think I got tired and went to bed after. I was like, no, I'm not going to stay up for this. I'm getting old.
Well, and there's a little bit of a time difference between us and Tulsa, so
I got an extra hour over there. Hayden Hansen won the restricted A class. Kyle Larson won the winged A class. Brent Cruz won the stock non-winged micros, and Brexton Bush winning in the junior sprints. I read something today that Kyle Busch may be getting behind the wheel of a sprint car.
I guess he has the blessings of his NASCAR or of his Cup owner to do it.
Is he still running for Childress? I thought he was having issues there. I don't even know who his Cup owner is anymore.
I don't think he's been fired from there.
All right, we'll go with that.
Maybe producer Dave has some insight.
Dave knows everything.
Yeah.
Vado Speedway Park Wild West Shootout started this past weekend. Saturday, Bobby Pierce picking up the win in the late models. Cade Dillard winning in the modifieds. Rob Mosley in the X mods, and then Sunday, Bobby Pierce backing up that win with another one in the late models. Jake Gallardo winning in the modifieds, and Rob Mosley, your X mod winner. That was supposed to pick back up again last night, the Wild West Shootout, and go through Saturday.
Right.
I think I saw a picture Turbo posted. They got more snow there than we have here.
Gee.
So yesterday was actually originally postponed to be run today, and then today was just canceled. So Wednesday and tonight's racing, I believe, has been scrapped. So hopefully they'll get things going tomorrow. I have to get the plow. It'll be like the hangover race. It's up to New Mexico.
If we can do it, they should be able to.
Exactly. Going down under where it's a little bit warmer, high-tech Toowoomba Speedway on Saturday. Lachlan McHugh winning in the sprint cars. Kai Jensen, your 360 LS sprint car winner. Carter Armstrong winning in the late models. Also Saturday, Albany Speedway. Joe Chalmers, your Pro Dirt late model winner. George Park winning in the production sedans. Joel Bowman, junior sedan winner. Peter Herbert in the street stocks. Bunbury Speedway, also running on Saturday. The Western Australia Sprint Car Speed Week. Kerry Madsen picking up the sprint car win. Cody Turaccio winning in the Formula 500s. And Leah Heaps, your winner in the Junior 500s. And then Sunday, Premier Speedway in action. Caleb Curie winning in the speed cars. Tyson Martin, the wingless sprints. Brock Atkins, your winner in the super sedans. And at least a couple of the drivers here in the studio have raced in Australia.
Yeah.
We raced at Bunbury.
And how many years ago was that?
99.
So it's been a few years.
Our winter of 99, too.
But that was more recent than you raced at Bryan.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Yep.
We'll bring in all our guests here in just a second. Got to mention Ron Miller Race Cars up there in Lambertville, Michigan. Actually, in 3 places, which we always talk about for absolutely no reason. 734-856-7223. Give them a call for race cars, parts, safety, equipment, service, American maybe
Race.
tires.
Yeah.
You're gonna yes.
Yeah, well, I'll have the American Racer tires for Fremont for sure.
But the Towel Cities, that's the one that's a question mark.
That's it.
Okay. I talked to Craig about tires too,
Right.
so
He's up in the air too. Doesn't know.
doesn't know. So
It's no official announcement.
whatever you need, though, give Ron a call if you need advice. Like I had my fire suit. I was like,
Yeah. Did
Who
that
can I
fix
call?
it?
I still need. No, I need to get your seamstress
Okay.
number
All right.
there. Yeah, should I tell this story? At the hangover race, I had to go use the bathroom, and
Yeah.
you got the double zipper, so I unzipped the bottom one, and when I was done, it wouldn't zip back down. And I noticed it was kind of the zipper was ripping out of the seam, so I'm like, "Can this
he
be
had
repaired?"
trouble with,
So I'm like, Ron would know, so I called up Ron.
and he did. Yeah.
Like
Roddy, my Stars and Stripes suit and my blue and white suit both got new zippers just last fall. Yeah.
So we got the zipper to move, but we couldn't fix it ourselves,
nope.
so it'll probably need to be replaced, which is
Yes,
cheaper
you do.
than getting a new fire suit
A whole lot.
because it's only 2 years old, so it still has some life
That's a
left.
baby.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Victory Fuel, the flavored electrolyte water that is free from artificial coloring, no caffeine, and no carbonation with a full load of electrolytes and 120% of your daily vitamins. It is the choice of many teams on race day to stay properly hydrated. Contact local sales representative Tanya Conley for track concessions and for wholesale inquiries, or you can order online at drinkvictory.com. Make sure to use discount code Conley Racing when you check out, and you will help fuel their racing program and probably save a little money.
I understand that Conley Racing is in Tulsa right now.
Are they?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So let's bring in the crew here. We have
Got enough places on the screen.
I don't know. We're gonna see what happens here. I might let's see.
Darken us.
Yeah, Joe's already on the screen, so we Joe, you like I made you the only person on the screen. Let's see. Let's bring Todd in. There's Todd. That's Dave. We don't need Dave. There's Mr. Rick Spangler. He's got his camera off. That's okay. It's fine.
Oh, here.
There's Hillard. Hillard Miller's joining us. I don't see Dwayne yet. Dwayne Hancock should be joining us with some others. Hi, guys. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Todd, we haven't talked to him lately. Well, maybe we have.
I haven't seen Mr. Spangler in a long time.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah. Still, okay. I think I'm done playing with the cameras now. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And if we get some more folks, and actually got to call Ron here in a little bit, but
Ron Price.
we'll talk to who we have here. But as I was telling you guys before we went on the air, that I did a little bit of research. And again, we're talking about Bryan Motor Speedway. If you're not familiar with it, it was a track that opened up back in 1949, just outside the city of Bryan, Ohio, right up there in the corner of Northwest Ohio.
Yeah, I think Rick and I just missed the grand opening for that one.
Pretty close, right?
Uh-huh. So, it opened back in 1949, half-mile dirt oval, and over the years, apparently, there's been a...
I believe that started out as a 1 mile track.
That's what I've heard, but I couldn't
Yeah.
find any confirmation on that.
Yeah, the actual wall was 1 mile all the way around.
And there was a 3/8 mile asphalt track inside the dirt oval at one point, and then the go-kart track in later years, as I
Right.
recall. So it's had some history. It closed back in 1995, and apparently, the address, it's right off of 576 out there in Bryan, Ohio. It's actually still owned. The property is still owned by Ivan and Rebecca Graves. Officially, I did some real estate research here.
Ooh.
The appraised value currently, I think it's just land at this point. I thought I saw walls from the Google
Sort of,
pictures. Some sort of walls. Well, anyways, the property is currently appraised at $141,300, and that is, I'm guessing, for like property taxes, so probably lower than the selling price, which it is for sale. And Ron says it's been listed for a while.
Long time.
190,000 is the current price as of today when I looked it up. So if anybody wants,
To any of our guests, if you have something to add, just feel free to jump right in.
absolutely.
You don't have to wait for us to wait for you to put your hand up.
So, and the last thing I have to say about that before we'll open up the floor here was that Ivan had bought it. The Graves have bought, I should say, I believe, from the Starks.
Right.
Because that when I used to go there as a kid, that's the Starks had owned it in the 80s, and but Graves bought it either 90 or 91 for $285,000, which we just did the conversion. What was that number?
Corrected for inflation, it was 680,000.
$687,953.37
Ooh.
in today's dollars. So. And that was, of course, when there was still a racetrack there and grandstands and everything else. So that's all the history I could find. There's really nothing that I could find out there anywhere as far as like official history. There's no wiki page. There's
Really?
nothing other than there's that one Ohio's or Lost
Speedways.
and you had some pictures that you took.
Correct. Yeah, that was probably 10 years ago.
I think it was 2011, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
So let's start off by kind of going around the room and have everybody introduce yourself and kind of let us know when you ran, the years you ran at Bryan Speedway, and what you ran. And how about we'll start off with our guests in the studio here, and then we'll move on to our online guests. So, Joe?
Yeah, I think I started about 1985-ish.
Okay.
Give or take a little bit. I gave the Starks quite a hard time. Well, we didn't all get along like we should. But I caused a little trouble out there occasionally. I organized a strike once. That didn't make Larry very happy.
Well, we'll have to hear more about that.
Yeah.
What did you run out there?
Street stock, I think they called it at the time.
Okay. And did you run all the way until it closed in the mid-'90s then?
Well, I got hurt in 1989, and I missed a little bit and made a few laps here and there after that, and then they closed down shortly after
Some
that.
of our regular listeners might remember we had Joe on.
Featured, it was a good episode.
On a safety issue. Joe was involved in a barbecue out there one night.
He was the barbecue, unfortunately.
I was.
Yeah. So definitely check out that episode if you want to know more about that. Search for Joe Niccolo, Hammer Down Racing Report, and very good story told.
I can cook a turkey.
Roddy, what about what'd you run out there and what years?
I ran a semi-late, I believe they called them back then. Started around 84, when they closed.
Okay.
I ran an enduro race there. Won lots of heat races, not a couple features, not many. But every Sunday night we were there.
So you ran until it closed down then? Okay. And Ron?
I started a year or so later than Roddy, but yeah, up until the time they closed.
Okay, were you running at Oakshade then before?
Oh, yes.
Brian? Okay.
Oh,
Friday-
yeah.
Friday
And that
and
was
Saturday.
really cool because it was Oakshade Friday and Saturday and Bryan on Sunday.
That's a lot of racing.
Yeah, buddy.
Jeez. Todd, what about you?
Well, I ran a Thunder car there, was the first thing I ran, and then ran our street stock. I drove John Orr's modified there a few times, and I drove for Tracy Grimes' owner one time, the old 4 Camaro that he used to have.
I remember
He had
Tracy.
called me and asked me if I'd come up there and drive it for him, but I was probably there 10 times more helping and spectating than I was driving. I got a lot of memories from there.
The modified that you ran, was it a traditional like most of the modifieds around here, or was it one of the uprights?
It was one of the traditional ones. Tom Beasley was my uncle.
Tom Beasley,
and,
I remember
he,
him.
He passed away a few years ago, but he ran at Avila, and then the upright mods were at Butler and Bryan, so there was kind of a mixture of the two cars.
Right.
At Bryan.
Yeah, I remember the cars were vastly different.
Not to get too far off track, but I was when I was researching things, I found a picture of little Joe Bennett.
Oh, yeah.
And his modified, and it had a sprint car wing on the roof. And I was confused by that. I wasn't sure if that was a brung thing or what.
I think he ran in at Butler.
Butler?
Yeah, I think that's what he ran in.
I think they allowed him because Slade's car had a wing on the roof, so the conventional mods were putting the wings on the top to make it a little more even.
Gotcha. All right, let's Rick. I know I was watching you in the early '80s. When did you start running there?
I started there in '73.
Okay.
Started at the bottom and drove all the way to late models.
I remember watching you and Hillard battling quite a bit in the street stocks in the '80s.
Yeah, we started about the same time, and he's still doing it. I'm not. And I ain't got no voice.
That's all right. Hillard, when did you start running there?
I started in '77.
Okay.
And Rick and I had a lot of good battles. And the announcer used to play our families against each other. It was funny. He said, old Killer Bennett would get them going and pick on them. It was funny.
Kind of a Hatfields and McCoys deal?
What's that?
Oh, I say it was kind of like a Hatfield and McCoy deal?
Well, not that bad. Not that bad. Because I worked with Hillard's dad and his brother.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun over there. I ran, street stock starting out, and I went to modifieds for a couple of years, and then the late models in '90. And then I ran there till they closed, and then that's where my son got his start in the go-karts, was at Bryan. So.
Wow. And when did they open the go-kart track? Do you remember what year?
When he bought the track. Like a year after '96, I think.
Was it that early, Rick?
Well, it was just after he bought it. He tried to run the track for a year, and he couldn't make a go of it, so he switched it to a go-kart track.
Yeah, could be. I thought because I won the late model championship in '90, and then it actually didn't close down until '92.
We closed down after that.
'95, I think, is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So we also got Dwayne Hancock, who had spent some time at Bryan Motor Speedway in his younger years as well, and you still live out in Bryan, right?
Yeah, actually, it's the first racetrack I ever went to in my whole life when I was 18 months old, and went there till it closed and seen Rick and Hillard and, well, everybody on here race there. And, yeah, now I live 3 miles from it. At that time, I lived about 15 miles from it. But, yeah, was going there all the time, just about every Sunday, whether it was the modifieds or they used to run sprints once a month, late miles once a month for a while. And I know all these guys.
Dwayne, any thoughts of buying the place?
190,000
for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But trust me, I know the realtor real well, and she asks me all the time. And no, I don't have the $4 million it'd take to do what I'd want to do with it.
Yeah, you'd have to negotiate that price down just a little bit before you did anything.
Yeah, well, it's too much. Too many politics in our region now for that, for sure, especially out that way.
Yeah, the natives had never put up with it.
Nope.
That's what I was just going to ask. Is there any chance it's still zone commercial, but I don't know what exactly that means. If somebody were to buy it and try and build it back up as a racetrack, is that even a possibility? Do you think?
I was told no.
Okay.
They said Lori Stark told me, as long as it'll never be a racetrack again because of the housing development out there.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
And the country club's not too far from there too, right?
Well, that's not a country club no more.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
There may be hope.
Yeah. Problem is, there's no room anymore. I mean, compared to the haulers nowadays, compared to what they were then, everybody had an open trailer in their truck, and now you got these, 40 and 50-foot haulers. I don't think there'd be enough room, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
So,
from what I understand, they sold the front part. That's actually a farm field.
wow.
It could be.
Yeah, they're definitely farming it. I do know that.
Yeah, I think they sold the parking lot part of it, and they're farming that.
Is the dance hall still standing?
There ain't nothing standing.
Nothing.
No.
You can just
Nope.
barely tell there's still a track there.
Yeah, a couple telephone poles in a pond.
Yeah.
What was that? The lemon tree out there? The lounge? Wasn't that the lemon tree lounge or something?
It was some Starlight Lounge.
Starlight.
That sounds familiar.
Starlight.
Yeah.
So I'll start out with sharing some memories because I was a kid back in the early 80s, and we lived in Oak Meadows, which is a subdivision probably a mile and a half from the track as the crow flies. And Sunday afternoon, Sunday evenings, I'd hear the cars running. I'd be out playing in my sandbox, and I had a little racetrack in my sandbox too. But we hear the cars. You could hear the announcer too, and I was like, "Dad, they're racing. We got to go." So he would pop up some popcorn. We'd hop in the car and head on up there and watch the races. And one of the weirdest things, I talked to my brother too, because my brother is even younger than me. So I was probably 10 at the time, and it was my first wet T-shirt contest was at Bryan Motor Speedway. At intermission, yep, we're doing an wet T-shirt contest, and I was like, "All right, okay."
That was the only way Bryan could get publicity.
So that's what I remember most. That and watching Rick and Hillard battle each other out. That was. There was another guy too, Steve Warner, I think it was. Drove a 10 car.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a Mopar.
Mopar.
Yeah, he did. He had a big block, I think.
Yeah, he did. That's actually so my business that I own. Steve was the manager and hired me way back when at the store when I started when I was 18 and didn't have no idea that I was going to own it so many years later. And been good friends with Steve ever since, and ran a couple derby cars for him and stuff. And I was trying to get him on here tonight, but him and computer technology isn't the greatest.
Well, and another person I reached out to, Larry Jewett, who had a little bit of experience there, I guess on the flag stand.
Oh, yeah.
It's Ron's favorite story, but he was busy tonight, so he couldn't come on. So you want to tell that story, Ron?
Larry was the announcer, and he was a darn fine announcer. But they needed a flagman one night, and his flagging abilities weren't quite the same as his announcing abilities. And he created quite a stir. There were people that wanted to take him out. And I was standing at the base of the flag stand kind of protecting him. It was a pretty crazy night.
Did he piss someone off?
Several someones.
Intentionally or unintentionally?
Oh, no. It was just his unique flagging ability. We'll leave it there.
Well, as I recall, was it Larry Stark, the flag man?
Yeah. Yes.
He had a unique he had a unique mustache, and
Right.
And he liked to tell cars to go to the back, and that was before receivers. So he'd point at him and turn around and pat his butt.
Yeah.
Which was very entertaining as well. What are some of your guys?
Especially when you're 10 years old, right, Scott?
Yeah. It's very impressionable back then. What are some of your guys'
Well, I can
memories?
tell you that I was there the night that Marty Regal went off the track and he hit the water truck right in the gas tank. I don't know if anybody else was there, but the diesel fuel went everywhere. And I was there one night in a late model race, and a car got up on the backstretch fence, start taking some poles down. Well, a speaker come off and hit Larry Zent's wife. Larry's a asphalt racer, and he owned the New Paris Speedway at the time, and they only had one ambulance there at the track, and so there was a lot of people that got hurt, people on the track, off the track. And he gave me the keys. He said, go get my car and bring it up here so we can take Annie to the hospital. And he goes, I don't remember how much money it was, but I was really young at the time, but it was a lot of money. It's under the seat, and just don't let anybody get it. And I'm just like, I should just go get it and leave. No, I wouldn't do that. I went and got his truck, and we took her to the hospital so she could get treated. But there was a lot of people got hurt because some telephone poles hit people. The speakers flew off the poles and hit them. I don't even remember if they finished the races that night. I just remember having to leave and go to the hospital.
Just good times all around.
And then my uncle got into a big fight with the LaPrestos, and they broke his car owner's ribs. And I had to drive them home. I think I was maybe just old enough to drive, but I drove the rig home while they took him to the hospital because he had broken ribs and
the LaPrestos got in a fight every time.
Night, but a car got hit on the backstretch. It was sitting in the middle of the backstretch. They left the green out, and the guy started to get out of his car. Oh, and I was screaming, "Get back in!" I was standing right by the fence because the cars were coming around, and one of them hit him full speed.
Oh, geez.
It was pretty bad.
Wow.
The good old days. The good old days.
Yes. Jeez.
And then a good friend of mine is Moose Myers, and my parents had some reel-to-reel footage of the asphalt track, and because they raced there, and I still have it somewhere, but I'm not sure where. But it was some pretty decent footage of racing on that asphalt track.
What do you remember?
I raced on it.
What's
I raced
that?
on when it first started. I raced on the asphalt track.
Really? So it was the 70s when they had the track, the asphalt?
73. They changed it over when Stan Perry and the Flagos and Deaches bought the track, and they changed it over to dirt.
Gotcha.
I don't know what year it was.
It was before.
Yeah, I don't remember what the year was, but my dad owned an asphalt car, and Tom Weibel drove it, and they raced up there on that asphalt track.
Yeah, when
Bruce
I was
Myers, Stan Perry, Red Foster, all them guys ran asphalt there, and then they changed to dirt.
Yeah.
So did a lot of those guys that ran the asphalt, did they stay there and change over to dirt then when it switched?
I know Foster did. Perry did.
Yeah, I think it was the same way with Avila when they went back and forth from asphalt to dirt. A lot of the guys just got dirt cars, and then they ended up at Bryan too on the dirt because Avila went dirt.
Yeah, saying back then was once you close the hood, the car doesn't know where it's at.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's kind of changed now, but back then that was true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Joe Bennett would run Bryan and Butler and all over, run asphalt and dirt all the time. So
Same car or different cars?
Same car.
Same car.
Yeah.
And win most of the time.
He did.
Yeah,
he won a lot.
He was a lot of us guys over there's idol, back in the day, because hell, he would dominate pretty much,
He would.
whenever he went. And, that night that you was talking about the guy taking the post down on the backstretch, I think that was Art Ball.
Art Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ran that big ass rear tire.
Yeah, the big old humpers. Yeah.
Big old humper and climbed the wall.
Yeah. Center
rode by the wall.
Yeah.
They're talking about humpers, Scott. It was like a 104-inch tire. Really, it was a drag race tire, and they'd put some grooves in them and had plenty of stagger.
So the tire rolls were a little more open back then?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I remember a couple of cars that had more than 4.
What?
Just somebody being creative.
Okay. Who?
I don't even.
You can't
remember.
just dangle that carrot out there and not.
This would have been at Toledo Speedway.
Oh, okay.
And they had dual right rears that they had created.
Oh, so it was like a dually. I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
Probably the guy's name was Ron Miller.
I know what you're talking about.
Trying to get an edge.
Yeah, more than likely.
How about you, Roddy? You've got some memories over there, I'm sure.
Well, I have good ones and bad ones. I mean,
well, we've heard a lot of bad ones. Let's start with the good ones.
Well, I won an enduro race there. First enduro I'd ever entered. It was a 2-hour, and I went 207 laps and won. And then, like I said, I won a few heat races and features in the semi-late. But one of my biggest memories is when he caught on fire, Joe. I stood right there and watched the whole thing. It was just the worst thing I've ever seen in racing.
Were you in that same race, or were you just in the pits?
No,
watching?
I was in a different class, so I was in the pits watching. And I mean, the fire was so big they couldn't even get to him. He flopped out of the car on his own. It was just horrible. It seemed like it lasted for an hour.
It was a hell of a show.
Oh, wasn't a good one. But I mean, that was it. Like I say, every Sunday night we raced there. We'd race Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week for years, and I mean, it was a lot of fun.
So your weekends were just shot then during the summers.
Well,
That's not shot.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
That's it.
And I was young, so I couldn't wait to get off work on Friday and race the whole weekend. Like I've told my kids and things that there was times I'd eat lunch at work on Friday and wouldn't eat again till lunch on Monday because there wasn't time. You had to get the car ready to go racing, and racing with Hillard and Gid Perry and Ron and Bob Miller. I mean, there was a lot of good racing. With
Exactly
Spangler.
right.
Cowboys.
I think there was a guy named Phipps that raced there. Steve Phipps, I
I
believe.
remember that.
Yep.
So yeah, there was a lot of good racers. Lots of fun.
It was Max and Louis Stahl.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I think Max
The school-
was running at
School brother.
Oakshade when I started announcing out there.
Probably.
Yeah.
JR was for sure.
Okay.
Jim Bressler.
I remember that name, yeah.
So what's that?
Jim Bressler.
Oh yeah, Gary and Bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another memory I just remembered at Bryan Motor Speedway was that was the first time I got to go on a racetrack. They had a night where they had the I think it was the street stock cars come out, and the kids could come out, and they just kind of stuck them in the
Pile all over
Yeah.
the car.
all over the car. Yeah, I was sitting in the back window, and people on the side, and just you get a ride around the track.
Yep.
Stuff you can't really get away with today, I don't think, due to insurance issues. But
Yep. I used to do that too, and I tell people about that nowadays, and they're like, "Yeah, right." And I'm like, "No, that happened all the time there.
Yeah.
There aren't too many rules there."
well, and it was a little easier too because the cars were like they were stock cars,
Yeah.
so there was room inside where you're not just having a panel with a cockpit where there's no room to put kids. But
I don't know. The deck of Hillard's late model could probably handle a dozen kids.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. The one thing about kind of strange about the night that Joe had his fire, every class had a wreck that night.
They
I
did.
wrecked the modified, flipped it on the back strip. Dan Brown flipped his Super Street, would have been Roddy's class.
Broke a
And
leg.
then, my leg was broken before.
No, I thought the other guy
Dan
didn't.
Brown?
Dan Brown broke
Dan-
his leg, I think.
No, he messed his back up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Joe had his fire. It all happened the same night.
Ooh.
it was a bad night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So Hillard, what would you say would be your best night out at Bryan?
Oh, I don't know. I had so many good ones, I guess. Just back then, we would run a dash every Sunday night or whatever, and just take the top 6 qualifiers. And we used to run. What were they? 6 laps, Rick?
6 laps.
Yeah, and we all 6 of us would change the lead about every lap, and
Good.
never put a scratch on anybody's car. And it was just, that track was wide enough and big enough that you could race all over it. And unless somebody was pissed off at you or something, you didn't really tear nothing up over there.
It was a fast track.
Yep. Yeah, it was. That's why I just went through a bunch of my old stuff. My mom would keep records every night of time trials and all that stuff, everybody's finishes. And it's neat to go back and look at that stuff and see the times we turned around that track just in street
Yep.
stock.
There wasn't much difference with street stock and late model as far as within maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah. And my favorite night is when the sprints would be there. It's like they juice the track up a little bit better or something. And you could flat foot it around there, that old Mopar I had, and turn some good laps.
Was that back in the days before the EPA got involved with what was put on the track surfaces?
Oh, the track for quite a while was oil dirt.
No, Brian's.
Yeah, Bryan was never oil
Yeah.
dirt.
Brian
was
is
just-
they put salt on theirs.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
hard
Bryan.
and black.
I went to Butler, go to Butler, it was oil, and
Yeah,
Butler did.
made him take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that. So
That's like Roddy was talking about racing all 3 nights. I used to go to Villa on Friday when everybody else would go to Butler. I'd run a Villa on Friday, Oakshade on Saturday, and then Sunday at Bryan. That was my weekend. Shit, we had a ball.
So let me ask you this: who would you say did you like racing against least at Bryan Motor Speedway?
I don't. Most of us didn't care that much for the way Tracy drove, but he was aggressive, and wild. But,
He's my boat.
Yeah, he ended up in the parking lot, 3 times?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
With or without
Once
the
a year,
race
he
car.
ended up in the parking lot.
With or without
His
the
nickname
race
was
car.
the Wild Man, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that's what they called him, the Wild Man.
Yeah.
I remember I won a race one time, and they was gonna tech his motor or whatever, and he just, I'll just go home because I'm not legal. He wouldn't even let him tech his motor. They gave me the win.
That was probably when he was driving or somebody else.
Remember him getting stuffed over the guardrail at a Villa too, either by Chuck Roy or Beasley, one of the two. I remember they was battling, and he ended up out in the drag strip.
Yeah, he did get a modified there for a while.
Yeah.
So he even ran late models for a little bit.
He drove the car I drove first
Yeah.
for Gary Justinger, and tore that up too many times, and then they hired me.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this, and we'll kind of go around. What was your favorite thing about Bryan Motor Speedway? We'll start at the bottom with Dwayne.
Mine, of course, I was young, is it was in the perfect place, like everybody's saying. It was their 3rd race of the weekend, and it was in the perfect place. You'd get Warsaw cars when you had the sprints, or you get Butler cars. You'd sometimes get some Fremont cars, and so there's many times like Jeff Gordon was out there when he started, and I've seen Jack Hewitt, Rick Ferkel, Kevin Huntley. In the late models, you have Dave Marco, Art Ball, and John Lawhorn. All these guys that just come in there, and it was just a very talented group of drivers there, and then our locals were excellent. And they'd come there, and you see Hank Lauer, Gary Fiedel, a bunch of those guys. There's just a lot of talent there every time you went there.
What about you, Hillard?
Oh, the unique thing about Bryan was that, Buck Stark owned it. His wife owned like a ceramic store or a knick-knack store or whatever. And all of our trophies, I'm sure Rick still got some of them too, that instead of getting a trophy, you'd get something like a clock, or I don't know if you can see them in the background or not. There's a wooden clock on the wall back there. There's a white clock. That ashtray is a lamp with a race car on it. Those are all trophies from Bryan back in the day.
Yeah.
Huh.
And heck, I used to give them away to all my sponsors, and I'd give them to my family for Christmas presents, because you may get a cookie canister, or it's just all sorts of things. It's different than what you see nowadays.
What about you, Rick?
Nowadays,
Bryan, what I liked about Bryan was fast, wide. It was never had. I only had one hole in that I know of. But other than that, I love the track.
Todd, favorite thing?
Yeah, same thing. Wide sweeping corners where you could really carry some speed. And I remember Sunday nights was always kind of my favorite night to race. We ran Plymouth for a while on Sunday nights, and and if it was our main track and we could do stuff on Friday and Saturday, and then we could race on Sunday if we just done one night. But the Cook boys used to go to Montpelier. They'd run on Sunday afternoon. They'd run their feature, and then they would head to Bryan. They'd run 2 shows in one day.
Jeez.
Wow.
Jeez.
Ron, what was your favorite thing about Bryan?
You know, more than anything, I just like the racetrack. You complained to Buck about the track being so black and slippery. He says, yeah, but it sure is smooth. And that's where I learned to drive on black slick tracks and still like them.
Ratty?
I just liked the track. It was fast, and it was a place to race every Sunday. And then also, if you weren't racing, like in your class, like say to watch Hillard and those guys race, you could watch races too, and they were fun to watch.
What about you, Joe?
I liked that it was really fast, but my favorite thing was I started racing in Angola, and it just seemed like the guys at Angola, they wouldn't tell you anything. It was like top secret everything. And then I learned about camaraderie. When I went to Bryan, you know, it didn't matter who you parked beside. They were going to be there, and they were going to help you. And if you needed something, it was yours, you know, and it worked both ways most of the time, you know. There was exceptions, of course, but, you know, everybody helped everybody, and it really seemed like that. It's kind of like the dirt track thing to me. You know, everybody helps everybody, and they're there for each other, and if you need something, they're there. Or your car's broke, they're going to come to your house and help you fix it, or, you know, that's what I really liked about Bryan, was the camaraderie.
See, there is good stuff to come out of this. It's not all bad. Let's give Ron Price a call. He had a pretty good story, and I was supposed to call him earlier. He's supposed to be joining us.
He's probably in bed by now.
Hopefully it's not too late. I'm only about a half hour late calling him. But hi, is this Ron?
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, it's Scott Hammer from Hammer Down Racer Report. Sorry, I'm calling you a little too late. You got a moment?
Yeah.
Okay. We're all kind of sharing our memories here about Bryan Motor Speedway, and I was hoping you could share that story you were telling me about on Monday about the new flagman guy.
Well, that happened. I was looking through my stuff out in the garage. That happened in 93. I run there a little bit at the end of 91. 92, I got a trophy for being second in driver's points. And in 93, of course, that's when Ivan owned it, and things started going downhill fast. Won a lot of races there. This particular night, like I said, things were starting to get bad. Things were struggling. His regular flagman quit. So they hired somebody right out of the stands. And I'd been winning pretty regularly there, and apparently they didn't like me. So I got out front, had a big lead, and wreck happens back in the pack. I come off turn floor to the black flag. I'm like, well, what did I do? Well, my dad, of course, was a little hot-headed at the time. By the time I got back in the pits and we figured out where the old man was, it seems he went around to the other side, pulled the flag man down off the stands. Big fight ensued. I'm not sure if that's the one Ron was talking about earlier or not. I hope not, with Larry Jewett. We knew Larry as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, my dad ended up going to jail that night.
So maybe you had something there.
And yeah, that was about the last time I was there. I had another race. Where I won. You know, we did a little celebrating in the pits. Time we got around front to collect the money, the girl tells me, well, Ron, somebody from your crew come up and we paid them. I'm like, what do you mean, somebody in my crew? I don't have no crew. It's me, my dad, my brother. Who'd you pay? And, you know, that was like strike two. Because I started racing at Oakshade in 94. In fact, I got a thing here
May 14th of 94, I won the first Oak Shade Sportsman feature. This is in the Mark Times.
Wow.
So I know most of, like I said, 93, things were starting to go downhill. Loved the track. Like I said, it was wide groove. If I remember right, 3 and 4, track was banked, but it also had like a roll to it. And if you went into 3 just right, I could just stand on it and never left all the way through 3 and 4 on that track. Beautiful track, a lot of good memories, some not so good.
Does anybody remember towards the end, Ivan had the lights were controlled by a knife switch. It's just a lever that you would pull and lock the contacts together. And sometimes it didn't work. And now you got to remember that Ivan was almost always barefoot. And
Yeah.
if the lights didn't come on, he took his screwdriver and jammed it in the lights in the knife switch, and the lights would turn on.
Well, there was another time that we had a race. I had a big lead, and caution come out, and I believe it was something electrical. I wouldn't swear to it. But we was out there riding around, and we must have made 15 or 20 laps under caution. They finally had it figured out through the green flag, and about 3 laps before the end with a big lead, I run out of gas. Come coasting into the pits. Well, it was another fiasco there, but yeah, like I said, a lot of good memories there.
So, Ron, we have a whole bunch of other folks here with us. We got Rick Spangler, Hillard Miller, Todd Sherman, Joe Nicolay, Roddy Schroyer, Ron Miller, Dwayne Hancock.
Don't forget Dwayne. Good
sorry,
grief.
sorry, Dwayne.
I was just sitting in the stands. I didn't do anything. These guys are the entertainment.
So, do you guys miss Bryan Motor Speedway then?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. Even after going to Oak Shade, of course, I run pretty good back in the 90s at Oak Shade, but Bryan was always special. Me and the wife, that was our first date. Meet a girl, take her to the races.
Works well.
I think that was my parents' first date.
It must have worked.
Though, yeah.
We've been together almost 35 years now.
Wow.
That's how I met my girlfriend. I said, "You ever been to Oak Shade?"
Oh, funny story. When the first date, I was going to Bryan racing, and of course, the wife is from Wasion. So our first date, I jumped off the turnpike at 108, picked her up, jumped right back on the turnpike, and went out to Bryan and raced that night.
All right. Well, Ron, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of insight here. I guess it looks like some of our listeners might be having some issues. I don't know if there's an issue with the phone going through, but we appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for bringing up some memories, and like I said, it'd be nice if somebody would buy the place and reopen it. But what I'm hearing, that probably ain't going to happen.
That's Dwayne Hancock. He can make it happen.
$190,000 is the asking price currently.
Yeah.
As long as I get that Ron Miller race car sponsorship for the title sponsor, the naming rights will be good.
There we go.
As many years as I've been running Ron Miller race cars, but think there'd be something in there, wouldn't you?
You'd think so.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, Ron. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks,
Have
Ron.
a good one. Thanks. Bye.
All right, so if one last question for all you guys, and thank you guys for taking the time tonight to join us. if Bryan Motor Speedway were to reopen, what would it look like in your eyes? I mean, what would be the ideal situation, regardless of the political and other issues that would prevent it from reopening? Pretend those don't exist.
Back to the half-mile track that we all ran on instead of the smaller track in the middle. Certainly not on the 1 mile track, and black and slick, smooth.
Okay.
And I'd probably build another late model.
What about, a couple, I don't know. Are you technically still active, Roddy?
Only if Alan comes back.
If you have a car, you'd race, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming would all of you guys run there if the track were to reopen this summer?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Or even a year from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got my number, Scott. I'll drive your car.
That's a funny story. Actually, to be honest, you were one of my favorite drivers when I was a little kid. I used to love your car. That's where I got my number from on my car. So it's your fault. So yeah, you can come out. You can run my car. I don't know if it'll be geared for the half mile though.
We can build a
fix it.
gear, Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, back when like Hilliard ran Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that would be tough nowadays just because of the expense. But I think that UMP does a really good job with the national and regional and all those points that the guys would show up. You know, the guys like Rusty and some of the big name guys, because they're chasing those regional and national points. And obviously Rusty, they sell a lot of apparel and stuff. So it's not just the racing. So I think it would go over well. There's lots of race cars in that area. It's an hour drive for me, so it would be a no-brainer. It's probably closer than, Butler or Montpelier or Lima or any of the other tracks. And I've always liked racing on Sunday nights. And if Kokomo ran mods on Sunday nights, I'd be there every Sunday night.
Now, was Millstream running Sunday nights when Bryan was running?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're kind of competing head to head then.
I think that was a sprint car track pretty much back then.
Yeah, mainly because that's the only time I want to be at Bryan if there's a big sprint car show at Millstream. So I'd, go be there 4 or 5 times a year and be at Bryan the rest of the time.
I do remember seeing the Sprints on Dirt Sod Series used to run at Bryan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Bryan. Yep. So Bryan, what would you guys consider Bryan Motor Speedway? Was it primarily a late model track? Primarily what?
Kind of, sort of.
The sprint cars like it. It was a fast track for sprint cars.
Yeah. So kind of both then.
Yeah.
To me, it was a modified track growing up because that was your local show, and there's a hell of a bunch of good modifieds at the time. And they'd have the sprints once a month and the late miles once a month. But, there was a good 30, 40 modifieds all the time because you had the Butler and the Villa ones come over. And like I said, Beasley, little Joe Bennett, all those guys. It was damn good racing.
What was the story with the two different styles of modifieds back then, where you had the flatter, almost gremlin looking like modifieds with the without the front fenders, and the uprights,
the upright mods,
yeah, the taller, skinnier ones that kind of look like modified,
like the East Coast modifieds.
Yeah.
That was the Butler modifieds would come down and run. But Bryan originally started, it was supposed to have been like an IMCA series modified. And I built my first modified from scratch on an old alignment table. And then they started running Rick and them, but they'd take the fenders off that late model. And Slaves had the uprights. That's when I decided, ain't no sense me running this shit. I might as well go to late model.
So that was before UMP then?
Yeah,
pretty much. During EMP.
Okay.
It was towards the end of it. Yeah. I started out with the last car I had was modified we took the front nose off and stick the modified nose on.
Those same cars, Scott, ran at Oakshade, and
the The same modifieds?
Yeah, some of the uprights, some of the, and they ran them with the 6-cylinder late models. And Bob Memmer, they talked to him, the folks from Oakshade talked to him about getting a UMP sanction. And his exact words were, I don't know what the hell it is that they're doing there, but I want to be part of it.
And of course, Bob Memmer is
was the founder and
Founder
of UMP.
Thank you. I knew that. I wasn't sure everybody that's listening may not.
Well,
know
everybody
that.
here knew it.
Well, everybody here, but there's a lot of people that aren't just here. Yeah. So cool. So what would you? How many of you guys would say that Bryan at the time you were running there was that your favorite track that you were running at the time? And no wrong answers.
We were all young and stupid, Scott, and we was just it was one more night, man.
Yeah.
If somebody,
but I mean, was it your favorite? Though?
If somebody ran a fourth night during the week, we'd have been there too.
What I'm asking, was that your favorite track to run?
It definitely was my favorite.
It was mine.
I didn't have a
It's definitely
favorite.
mine.
Yeah.
I just like going. Like Ron and I would go to Virginia, Portsmouth, everywhere. We just go race.
Yep.
So every track was great because we were racing.
Gotcha. Todd, what was your favorite track when Bryan was going?
Well, I'm more of a bull ring guy, but to me it didn't really race as a half mile because the straightaways were so far apart. And to me, it seemed like a big 3/8 instead of a the halves. Some of the halves that I run had really long straightaways, and it was more of a maybe shorter straightaways and wider, longer corners.
Sweeping.
Yeah.
I would consider it a big 3/8 more than a half mile, but it was advertised half mile.
Yeah. Dwayne, I know you didn't race there per se, but where was your favorite track to go watch racing back when Bryan was running?
Villa.
Okay. Honest answer. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a Villa. I mean, we go to Villa and Bryan when it wasn't a sprint car race. I mean, Bryan was great, but I know I always loved the Villa, and that's, you always see these things. What's one track that you could bring back if you had the magical power? That would definitely be one.
Well, there's been tracks coming back from the dead. Millstream wasn't as dead as Bryan, the land is now, but there's been some other tracks that have been
Google
resurrected.
Earth still looks like a racetrack if you look at Bryan. Yeah.
It's got some ponds and stuff, but stranger things have happened. You guys are saying it's not going to happen, and I'm not going to get anybody's hopes up because I haven't heard anything that it is going to happen, but
Save me a hell of a lot of miles of driving to Attica and Fremont put on a sprint car series.
You'd have to put some more letters in your thing there, the Attica Fremont Bryan sprint.
There'd be one letter or one name, Bryan. There would be nowhere else.
That's true. You would be a lot closer for you.
Yeah, the politics are so much different today. It would be really, really hard. It's around us. There was a racetrack, and it's zoned high impact, and they can't change it. And we could put a racetrack there if we wanted to because it's high impact, and there ain't nothing they can do about it. But I don't know about the zoning in Bryan. I don't know how they'd probably throw a fit and not allow.
Sure,
it.
they would.
So what
depends who you take out to dinner and who you don't.
So what advice would you to wrap things up here? What advice would you give race fans and racers to not have their favorite track that's running currently end up like a Bryan Motor Speedway?
Go to the races.
There you go.
Take your neighbor with you.
Yep.
Go to the races and take your neighbor with you.
Don't let Ivan buy it.
Yeah, I say don't have a guy like Ivan that wasn't smart enough to put shoes on and take the track over.
Big overalls and barefoot.
I tell people all the time, Baldus, he stuck his neck out on the chopping block, and he had his 2 regular classes, and then he always ran specials. I mean, it was specials every week. It was a different, and it's the big races that made that place. And back at that time, I even tried to run some specials, and I did go to one that had a modified race there. I ran second, and I think Sammy Halcombe ended up winning it. I'm not sure, but I went to the payoff window and I got like $75. And I told Ivan, I said, people are not going to come if you're only going to pay $75 for second, and He's, well, I don't have any money. It's all I got. I think they turned the pit shack upside down that night. Like literally turned it upside down.
I remember when they tried to burn it down when he canceled that late model race, and all the greens, all them are up from Kentucky, and they got the gas cans with the lighters out for the grandstands. They was for real.
Wait, I want to know more about this. What happened?
I was towards the end, the bitter end, Scott.
Yeah.
So what happened, Dwayne?
Well, he had trying to do a special, like Todd was saying earlier. I think his UMP late mile deal is supposed to play national points and all this. Well, had like at the time the Greens were racing a lot of late models from like Kentucky or wherever, and they came up to get national points and all this, and he didn't have anybody in the crowd, and the driver tried working with him. He said, "What do you want us to do? Pay again? Pay an entry fee and all that?" And he's like, "No, I'm just going to cancel the race," and things got really ugly.
There's been a lot of things that have gone that I wasn't aware of when I was a kid back then. That's crazy.
What about the fireworks with what was the ambulance blowing up the one night with the fireworks? Anybody remember that?
What?
That's the night the guy come in and blow himself up.
Oh yeah, they had one of those. It was one of the fireworks nights. One of them went into the ambulance or what, where they had him stored or what, and caught that on fire. His ambulance or a pace car, I can't remember which one. Then John flipped the water truck over a few times. I remember that, getting the track ready.
They could have had like their own TV show, like a blooper thing. What not to do?
Can you top this?
I hit the wall once, right at the flagman, and Larry was flagging at the time, and everybody told me at the end. He says, when you hit the wall there, you climbed it. And Larry jumped out of the flag stand and went flying towards the grandstands there. They said it was the funniest thing they ever seen.
That would be pretty funny.
It was.
Yeah. Well, it depends if it must have been when he wasn't smoking, because sometimes, he's up there smoking a cigarette and would miss some things every once in a while.
What?
No.
Well, and this was all before Receivers, so everything was signaled by the flagman and the lights. I'm assuming, I don't remember the track lights as far as the yellow and green lights.
I'm not sure I remember seeing lights there.
I don't think we had lights.
Really?
I think sometimes Larry would just throw a flag at you if he didn't like it. He's down on the track. I've seen that a few times.
Oh, yeah.
He'd not get out of the way. Here's a flag. Take it with you.
Well, I remember seeing the lineups kind of go down on a clothespin from the tower to the flag stand, and then he'd get out on the track and be directing people to get lined up right.
That was fun to watch itself.
It was like a dance.
It was
choreographed. And then I remember cars ending up in the field off of 3 and 4 because you had that little narrow road to go back to the pits around 3 and 4, and
I was in that field once.
Were you?
I was.
Were any of you other guys in the field?
I had a right rear.
Up in the field.
Okay.
I had a right rear come off my car in turn 4 and went in the parking lot, broke the windshield out of a Chevy Beretta.
I might have been there that night. That seems familiar to me. Wow. See, these are all funny stories. Except for the guy that owned the car.
Right.
Yeah. You remember the night, Rick, that Tom Plummer hit the grader?
No,
Went off the back.
I don't remember that.
No? Yeah. He went off the back stretch there where we used to come on the track, and the grader set out there, and he had that Camaro and nailed the blade of that grader.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that either.
No.
That would have been like going into turn 1 on the 1 mile track, right?
Yeah.
No, it would have been going into 3.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like a lot of our listeners, some of them have raced there before. I've seen some comments kind of going through. I have to go back through all these. Some good stories. Feel free, if you are listening, to share your stories in the comments. And
Please.
Kind of look through all those. Like Mark Schultz here ran a sprint car invitational. It didn't make the show, got $100. Tim Sauter won Street Stockers feature that night. That's what he got $100 too.
We used to make good money, I thought, back in the day, didn't we, Rick? You won the feature.
Yeah, I was $300 or $400.
I can't remember. Sure, was it like $200, $250?
I remember going to Sandusky Cavalcade for a street stock race. I come in second, got $15.
Wow.
That's a place you stay away from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One and only.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys get into any fights with other drivers at Bryan or track officials for that matter?
No.
we may have had some arguments a few times, but you know.
I organized.
I still
a
argue with
strike.
the old announcer. I still argue with the old announcer since he works for me.
We're brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There was Tom Spangler, right?
Tom, he's passed away.
Okay.
There's Rick's brother.
I remember.
Tom, Dave, Steve, and Bryan.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to fight. They did.
They did.
They stuck up for old brother Rick. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
What about you, Todd? Any fisticuffs?
No, but I witnessed a lot of them.
Driver on driver or what?
Well, the one night with the LaPrestos, I don't know, Tom and them got together on the track, and I mean they were coming from everywhere, running between trucks, and me and Tracy Grimes was trying to break it up, and they got a hold of Tracy from both ends and was kneeing him in the guts, and I'm like, he's not even in it, and they dropped him, ran to grab somebody else.
Damn it, kind of coke.
LaPrestos fought with somebody about every weekend, but they had a vendetta against those Slade. That was their arch nemesis at at Bryan. Yeah.
Say, I think they fought with somebody every night, even if it was themselves.
Yeah.
Did they do it on the track though, like Earl Baltus suggests?
No.
No, but that's what they should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually wasn't too clean about it.
No, everything I seen didn't look very kosher.
Yeah.
Now, did they ever suspend anybody from the track for incidents like that?
I remember Buck coming over there, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs, and it got all calmed down, but it was already done before he got there.
Seems like the LaPrestos did get banned from there for a couple weeks or something. But I don't remember for sure. It's just
It's good entertainment. Why would they get rid of them?
It wasn't in front of the grandstands though. It was all back in the pit.
Yeah,
Gotcha. So I guess pretty much everybody we have on here still kind of races, except for, well, I know Hillard, you're kind of stepping back for your son. But Rick, when did you stop racing, Rick?
93.
93. Any desire to get back into it?
Oh, the desire's still there. The body isn't.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and all you guys raced at Bryan and still racing.
Oh, yeah.
So your car's safe. I won't drive your car.
What? You can drive my car at when Bryan opens back up.
Perfect.
And you can smash into the 53 of Hillard and take him out and take the checkered flag.
Yeah. There we go.
I'd pay to see that.
It'd be like the good old days.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Now
I get asked all the time when I'm going to quit racing. I'm 60 now, and I say, well, as soon as my health fails and I can't do it anymore, that's when I'm going to quit.
Shoot, look at Rick
I can
Farmer,
relate to
what,
that.
90?
I'm going to wait till a year after that.
He's still a young pup yet, ain't he, Ron?
You betcha.
He didn't learn.
John won't let me race anymore. I got to beg him to let me drive anymore.
So does that mean we won't see you in a race car at all this summer, Hillard?
No, I'm not going to say that.
As I recall, about 10 or 15 years ago, I remember you saying that you were going to retire, and that's pretty much when I learned when a race car driver says he's going to retire, it doesn't mean shit.
That's probably true. I'm like Todd, when my health is starting to struggle a little bit, and when I get real bad, I'll quit for sure. But I was going to quit and turn it all over to John, but I needed to test it for him before he ran.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we pretty much covered all the fun stuff at Bryan Motor Speedway. There's a lot more than.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's lots more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We could go on.
But
for hours.
Hillard could be a driver's coach. Let me tell you, if when he does, he's a hell of a driver's coach. Trust me.
Just some people listen to me, Dwayne. Not everybody.
You made me look like a hero one night, my one night. And so I'll never forget that.
You've done good.
There you go. So Dane Miller wants Dwayne here to resurrect the Speedway, Bryan Motor Speedway.
I agree.
I guess the pressure's on you, Dwayne. Make it happen.
Yeah, I know. I hear it all the time. Trust me.
And you know enough people down there that you could make it happen.
Yeah, you could cut through all the political crap, and
if anybody,
I probably could. It's just the money part. I just got to find one of them that wants to, put the money in there. I would do it if I could get the money, but
all right,
to
do it right, you'd need a couple million.
I've got a nephew that lives in Bryan, and he's a banker, so maybe.
Get a few investors, sponsors. Get a hold of Dwayne Hancock.
Right.
If you're listening and you want to help support or bring a track back, get a hold of Dwayne Hancock.
If you know a guy that knows a guy.
Maybe
if you know somebody with a pocket full of money that wants to spend it on a racetrack.
You do a great job of getting all the sponsors for the AFCS series, so maybe you could, convince them to put a little bit of that money towards a racetrack investment.
Napa Speedway's got a nice ring to it.
It does.
Yeah.
We need to get some of that sponsor money coming to the racers too, because it costs the racers as much to go to races anymore as anything, right, Todd?
Oh, gosh.
That's for sure.
It does.
All right,
I got my son racing now, so it's getting twice as expensive for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry to put you on the spot, Dwayne.
Oh no, that's fine. It's good. It's I 100% would love to do it, but and I seriously get asked that all the time, and especially on the business in town is like, I don't have that type of money. I still owe probably $500,000 at my business, so I can't invest, into a racetrack. But if somebody sure wanted to piss away a lot of money investing in it, I would sure take it and do it.
I don't know if that's the right approach to get investors there. Piss away a lot of money. Yeah.
Excuse me, would you like to piss away your money?
What was that, Rick?
Not the right conversation, pissing away the money.
I'd be all right. We'd show them they could get it back.
But you can convince the city of Bryan that you'd be bringing in all this income from people, fans and racers coming into town spending their money.
Maybe the historical society.
It's like you said, Dwayne, that politics, they'll never have it out there where that subdivision is.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's not enough room to put even in the
That'd be the biggest thing, the room, for sure.
Oh, you dashed all my hopes again. Dang it.
I don't know, Scott.
You'd have to get Dwayne to stay to home.
Yeah.
Hug Dwayne.
That's right. I mean, I only hit 93 races this year.
That's all?
Yeah, that's it.
Think of how much money you'd save only going to 20 shows at your own track.
Yeah, that's a hell of an idea.
All right, well, we should probably wrap things up here. Guys, I want to thank you very much for joining us here tonight, sharing your stories. You guys here in the studio. And
thanks
you guys
for having us.
online
Appreciate
as
it.
well. Well, you guys got to stick around. You can't go anywhere yet.
Oh,
we got to finish the show. But I want to thank Todd, Rick, Hillard, and Dwayne for joining us here and sharing.
Why
some
you
stories.
always put Dwayne last?
Because he's at the bottom. I'm just kind of going through the order.
Appreciate you
Right.
having us.
Here, well,
Thanks for having us.
there you go. Dwayne, Rick, Hillard, and Todd. Is that better?
I see what you did there.
All right, guys. Take care. And again, thanks for joining us, guys.
Good talking to you guys.
Take
Good
care.
seeing you again.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
See y'all at a racetrack somewhere.
All right.
All right. Now I got to find everybody to.
You can stop the video down there.
Yep, there we go. Okay.
We're back in the studio.
I think we're just all back in the studio here. Let's switch over to this one real quick.
Video's disabled.
Sorry. Clicked on the wrong one. There we go. See, that would be the kind of stuff that gets edited out in the produced audio, but not in the live version. So very cool having everybody on there talking about their memories. Before we move on, we got a little bit of racing news to cover. We got that pizza giveaway from East of Chicago Pizza in Clyde, and the Hammer Down Race Report window sticker. Again, if you haven't done so yet, type in hashtag DCR in the comments of the Facebook or YouTube Live or Twitch. I think producer Dave monitors all of them. So if you're watching us live, go ahead and put the hashtag in. If you already did, you're already in the drawing. If you don't win, you could always order one of these from DCR Graphics. They're just $5. He'll just get a hold of him on
including
Facebook.
postage.
Yeah, just get a hold of him on Facebook. He'll mail it out to you or meet you at a track if it's during race season. So, and if you get one of those, you put it on your car, and you got your phone, you can put hashtag DCR in.
I'll do it.
There you go. You be in the drawing. Yeah, you could have her do it too.
Elaine, do that.
Slap one of these on your car, and you'd be part of the Hammer Down Army for 2025. And if you were part of the Army last year, you got to re-enlist. We reset every year, so and we'll report your race finishes each week on the show.
If you give them to us.
If you provide them to us, yes. You got to do a little bit of work. Elevate your racing performance with Dominator Race Products, the premier choice for high-quality, durable race car components, from innovative nose pieces and valances to robust fenders and spoilers. Their products are engineered to enhance your vehicle's aerodynamics and durability on the track. Trusted by racers nationwide, Dominator Race Products delivers the reliability and performance you need to dominate the competition. Visit DominatorRaceProducts.com today to explore their extensive range of products and take your racing to the next level. I got lazy with this that copy, and I just had AI write it for me. I'm like, here, go to Dominator Race Products and write me a commercial.
Really?
Yeah, it did pretty good.
They did a fine job.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, so I stuck with it. Dominator Race Products also available from your local reputable race shops such as Ron Miller Race Cars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also, make sure to contact Freeze Frame Photos for all your racing photo needs, from action shots to victory lane, custom print magnets, can koozies, Christmas tree ornaments, tumblers, wood plaques, slate with photos on them, coasters for your cup holder in your car. I'm showing you, and nobody else can see. Yeah. And you can put whatever picture he's got, a victory lane picture, sitting in the car picture, action shots. Everything's custom, so it's cool for your sponsors, cool for fans, cool for everybody. Get a hold of Charlie there, 419-407-6994. Freeze frame photo, special moments, frozen in time. And we do have a little bit of racing news to get to, not too much, so.
Latest racing news.
Did you hear about Elio Castroneves?
No. What'd Helio do now?
Well, it's what he's going to do. He's a four-time Indy 500 winner, and he's going to make his NASCAR debut in the Daytona 500, running with Trackhouse Racing, or running the Trackhouse Racing number 91 car.
If he won, do you suppose he'd climb the fence?
I think he would. Pretty sure that definitely would happen. He's also actually going to run the number 82 Pinnacle Racing Group Chevrolet in the ARCA 200 the day before the Daytona.
Little
500.
seat time.
So, yeah, get a little seat time there. Those ARCA races, though, at Daytona, they can get a little crazy. I saw some video of Scott Melton, who we had on the show a couple of years ago. He was down there testing. He's got a fifth-gen car or something. Yeah, the donut guy. You remember him?
I do.
There's food involved. You remember him. Four-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jeff Gordon has been named the Grand Marshal of this year's Chili Bowl Nationals at SageNet Expo Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So that's the only way he's going?
I guess. Oh, there was something I wanted to mention earlier, too, talking about Kyle Larson winning in the Tulsa Shootout, a couple of those races. Remember a couple years ago he was boycotting the Chili Bowl Nationals because it didn't pay enough?
Right.
He left Australia to come be in the Tulsa Shootout to win $2,500. I'm confused.
Again.
Still.
So is it about the money or is it about the racing? I like Kyle. I think he's a great driver, but I'm confused on that. I don't know. Did you remember?
Oh, yeah, he made a big point.
Was it
about
Jack
that.
Hewitt that made the comments about him not being there at the Chili Bowl Nationals a couple of years ago? I think he had a nice little interview that was pretty good. Anyway, moving on. Danny Sams III announced on social media that he'll contest the full high-limit racing schedule aboard the Randerson Racing number 24D. The 22-year-old shined during last year's Ohio Sprint Speed Week, winning 3 races. Dason Pursley, who won the USAC National Midget Series Championship in 2024, will be contending for Rookie of the Year as well in the high-limit series this year.
Where's he from?
Who?
Sams.
Danny? I don't remember. He's from the United States.
Yeah. Okay.
19-year-old Corey Day has signed with Hendrick Motorsports. Ooh. Day will race 30 pavement events in 2025 for both Hendrick Motorsports as well as its affiliate teams. He'll race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Truck Series, ARCA Menard Series, and Trans Am Series.
Ooh.
So he's doing a lot of
racing.
And he's 19. He's young. So when you started, would you do all that too?
I'd do it right now.
Okay.
Still.
That is your racing news for tonight. That's all we had. No hammer down. Why is Craig calling? No hammer down hotline playback tonight. No messages or anything. But if you have any stories about Bryan Motor Speedway you want to share, call or text anytime. That number that is covered up on your screen.
It's 419-318-3081.
There it is. Yep. 419-318-3081. Call or text anytime, day or night. We'll share some stories next week on the show. If
you think after 361 shows you wouldn't have to look at that, Scott.
I'm terrible with phone numbers. I have a lot of car numbers and names. There's like a index in here. Like I can't.
He's only got so many gigs of RAM.
Exactly.
That's it.
I'm an old 486. Thank you. Let's do our how many and give away some pizza.
Ooh.
Does that sound good? It's this one right here. You ready?
How many?
Of course, I still got that there. So last week's how many was the number of the winning
car.
Winged Outlaw. The winning Winged Outlaw car number. Yes, for Saturday's Tulsa Shootout. And that was Kyle Larson.
Right.
Number 83. Ooh, and you know what I forgot?
That's a good number.
Is it? Oh, it is. That's weird.
Number.
Where'd that number come from?
I don't know. Only cool people got it.
So we had a tie, actually. Well, before we get to that, I picked 8.
Right.
Because I didn't know any of the numbers of the Tulsa Shootout guys, so I just picked my car number. And you picked 9 just because that pretty much shuts me out. Yeah. So you get to pick first this week, but before we do that, we had a tie for our listeners, which I forgot to type into our...
I thought you were stalling.
Our East of Chicago pizza wheel.
When Scott's stalling, he gets that deer in the headlight look.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There it is.
So luckily there was only 3 names I have to type in real quick to spin the wheel to find out who's going to win this week's one large, one item East of Chicago pizza, East of Chicago in Clyde. So I got the wheel all set. See, we're all good. Now I just have to share it so you guys can all see and I can prove that I'm not. What is going on?
I don't know.
There we go.
So did all of those folks pick number 83?
They all picked 83, yes.
Ooh,
we have 3
good job,
3 listeners that picked 83. That would be David Keegan, Doug Frost, and Matt Swander. So here we go for the one-item large pizza from East of Chicago's 30 Days to Claim Your Pizza.
In Clyde, Ohio.
And thanks to Dean Henry for hooking us up with that. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? It's going to be Matt Swanberg. And Matt said that if he won, he got a hold of me before the show.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how the heck he knew he was going to win there, but he would like to donate his pizza to first responders, as he often does. So,
okay.
So, Dean, if
good for him,
can make that happen, that would be awesome. And thanks again to East of Chicago Pizza there in Clyde, Ohio. Now, for a chance to win next week on the show, a large one-item pizza. How many late models are going to be at Golden Isles?
Ooh, Golden Isles.
On Wednesday.
Ooh.
As I believe that's Lucas Oil Series kicking off things there. Yeah, Super Bowl of Racing, Golden Isles Speedway. Starts Wednesday of next week. How many late models are going to be competing Wednesday at Golden Isles? And if it snows, it might be 0.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be kind of a light car count. I'm going 29, Scott.
20? Really?
Yeah.
That low?
Yeah.
Because it's a Wednesday? Or
because it's a Wednesday.
Okay. I'm going to go with
30.
Well, I'm going to let these guys guess, too, so I might get boxed in. So I'm going to go with 35. I'm taking your number.
Good number. Good number. Proud of you, Scott.
What do you think, Roddy?
45.
He's optimistic. What do you got, Joe?
I was going to say 43.
43. All right. You're a little bit of in a box there, but not too bad. So if you want a chance to win a Big D's pizza, Dean says 0.
And that's all pretty cool because if it rains, I win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. 0. You got a good enough guess as 0.
Yeah.
If you'd like a chance to win a East of Chicago pizza in Clyde, all you have to do is put your guess in the comments of the Facebook Live or the YouTube Live, and we'll give you until Wednesday noon. Noon on Wednesday. No, let's cut it off before then. Let's cut it off at...
If the weather happens to jump up.
When should we do the cutoff? Because I'd like to give the people that aren't watching us live a little more time to get in on this, too. How about Tuesday?
Tuesday, 10 o'clock.
p.m.?
Yep.
Tuesday, 10 p.m. I better write that down or I'm going to forget.
9:63. That would be a few minutes after.
Oh, I get it. That's like 10:03.
You got any crayons here? I'll draw you a picture.
No, that's 9:60 is 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but 9:63 is a few minutes.
That's after. Yeah, I get it now.
See there, Scott? He's more than just a pretty face.
So you have until Tuesday at 10 o'clock or 9:63. We'll go 10:03 to get your guess in. As long as it's in before then, you will be entered to win that East of Chicago pizza. And you cannot change your guess once you put it in, so you're locked in once you put your guess in. If you change it or you guess more than once, we're going to give you the black flag.
You will be black flagged.
Sitting back there between Roddy and Joe. So there you go. So good luck on getting that. Have some racing action to talk about this weekend, and then we'll wrap things up with our DCR drawing. So let's check out this one, our East of Chicago race menu for this weekend.
This weekend's racing menu.
Starting off, we have Vado. I keep calling it Vado. Vado Raceway Speedway Park, the Wild West Shootout. We mentioned this a little bit earlier. They were supposed to be racing tonight.
But they're
that
not.
Has been postponed because of snow. They were also supposed to run yesterday, so 2 days.
No, tonight wasn't postponed. It was just canceled.
Last night was postponed to today. Today was canceled, so both shows canceled. Hopefully tomorrow they'll get things going, and that should run through Sunday over there at Vado Speedway Park. Bunbury Speedway, Friday night. It's going to be the Legend Car National Title featuring Legend Cars, V8 Dirt Modifieds, Super Modifieds, Super 6, Junior Sedans, and Production Sedans. Did they run this many classes when you guys were racing over there?
No, it was us.
It was us. Okay. You were the show. High Tech Toowoomba Speedway. That has been canceled. They were supposed to have a 2-night show this weekend, but I guess that's been postponed to April 11th and 12th due to the possibility of rain. So no racing at High Tech Toowoomba Speedway as originally scheduled. Perth Motoplex. Friday night, it's USA versus Western Australia Speed Week finale featuring sprint cars, wingless sprints, street stocks. Yeah, that's it for Friday. Saturday night, it's sprint cars, street stocks, late models, and speed cars.
Right.
So
I think there's a couple late model, American late model guys over there this weekend.
I haven't heard
of
of any.
I think there are.
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just haven't heard who it is.
We'll have to look.
Yeah, the number 14.
Yeah.
Joe Gotzi's car owner.
Yeah.
Jeff Roth. He's
Jeff
over there.
Roth.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Jeff's on the East Coast, Roddy.
Well, he could be. I know he's over there. I've seen his picture of him over there.
All right, you guys figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to keep going. Esperance Speedway, Saturday, it's the AMCA Nationals. The AMCA Nationals 2025 Western Australia State Title featuring AMCA's Formula 500s, production sedans, street stocks, and late models. Murray Bridge Speedway, Saturday, it's the MJS Street Stock Series featuring street stocks, wingless sprints, modified sedans, Formula 500s, mod lights, and V8s. And, of course, the Chili Bowl Nationals will get things started at the SageNet Expo Center in Tulsa starting on Monday. That goes through Saturday. Featuring midgets all week long. Cap Henry, Nick Hoffman are scheduled to be in action on Monday. Darren Nida and Bobby Kofoid should be in action on Tuesday. That's
Bobby or Buddy?
I put body. Buddy Kofoid.
Okay, I thought maybe there was another one.
Nope. I don't know if I just copied directly from producer Dave's show prep or if I typed out
It's just that
body
it's
with
just,
2 Ds.
Just darn AI jumped
Shush.
in there again.
Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, as we mentioned, Super Bowl racing starting at Golden Isles Speedway in Brunswick, Georgia, Wednesday night, and that should go through next Saturday, just January 15th through the 18th. So it's already racing season again, guys. Crazy. And how about we do that drawing? I think Dave is ready to spin the wheel for the hashtag DCR drawing to win the Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker, or just sticker. It's not really a window sticker. It's a sticker.
Right.
Decal. Racing decal. That's what we'll go with. So, Dave, whenever you're ready, go ahead. And maybe I need to... Oh, nope, there it goes.
Ooh.
He's going to spin the wheel. He's got control.
It's full again.
Here, I got to blow this up so I can actually see.
Oh.
Chris Schoenauer. Congratulations, Chris Schoenauer. You have won the Hammer Down Racing Report window sticker, courtesy of DCR Graphics. Again, if you did not win, you can always get one of these for just $5 from DCR Graphics. Reach out to them on Facebook is probably the easiest way to get a hold of Dale there at DCR Graphics. Apparently, I cannot multitask. I cannot write down a name and talk at the same time. So, yeah. Well, that's going to do it.
I think Nancy Schoenauer has a sticker waiting at Ron Miller Race Cars, too.
So, oh, yeah. You have 30 days to pick that up, Chris. And if you don't, it goes back into the pile to give away.
If not, I'll sell it for $5.
Do you have to give any of those proceeds to Dale, then?
No.
Confused on this. Anywho, thanks to producer Dave, contributors John Young, Dean Henry, Matt Swander, Bob Stazak. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on X at Hammer Report, follow us on YouTube.
Can they follow us on Twitch?
Yeah, I think so, actually. Ooh. Weird.
That could be a winner.
How do I get out of this? I don't know how to...
Yeah, how you did it.
I can't get out of this. All right, well, there's that button. All right, that's all I need. Where was I? Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can watch us on Spotify now, which is crazy. iHeartRadio. Check us out at hammerdownracerreport.com. And make sure to rate and review us, share us with your friends, It helps us out. Thanks to our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Magic Moment Entertainment, and Dominator Race Products. Thanks to everybody that joined us online. Joe for coming in, Roddy as well in the studio. It was great having you guys.
Appreciate you having us.
And again, if you missed you missed our show, how many years ago was that we had you in the studio? Was that 3 or 4? No, it was before the pandemic. So, yeah, an earlier show. Definitely check out the Joe Nicoloy show that we had.
It'll make you appreciate your safety equipment if you're a racer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Don't ever think it can't happen to you.
Is that what you were thinking?
I never thought it. The only reason I had a fire suit is because I wanted to look like a racer.
I guess that's a good reason. Next week on the show, we're going to be speaking with NASCAR driver. I didn't tell you this, did I?
Not yet.
Garrett Smithley's going to join us next week on the show. I guess his dad has a plane or something and is out helping the fire fight over on the West Coast. So we'll talk to him about that.
Los Angeles,
yes. We'll talk to him about that as well as what he's got planned for this upcoming season. So, yeah. We'll see you next Thursday, 7 o'clock. That's a wrap on show number 361 of the Hammer Down Racing Report.
Yeah.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.